Sharing is caring. We are going to start learning from inspiring moms, inspiring women, inspiring entrepreneurs that I have connected with in my journey and that have taught me things, have shown me different things, and now I want them to show them for you. I will start this section of my YouTube channel with Carole Pluckrose. She's an amazing entrepreneur, mompreneur, leader in Barking at East London, who I met back in 2013 when I was finishing my master. And she just gave me this incredible opportunity to create her brand, to get to know her community, which is an amazing and inspiring project right at the center of Barking, where I lived in London. Thank you, Carole, for having this time to chat with me. I'm sorry it took that long to release this video, but I assure you it was from the heart since the moment I recorded it. I was pregnant a year ago when I recorded this, so you can imagine how long it took me to actually release this interview. But it's just a space to talk about mompreneurship and inspiring conversations with amazing people with character. Enjoy this interview and of course, keep being inspired. Hello, Carole. Thank you so much for being here with me in this conversation, Moms with Character. Is this new section, new program that I have envisioned to celebrate mompreneurship. And you, as a person I know for about 10 years, are a wonderful mompreneur. I deeply admire for your work for you as a person, of course, and for you, for your work at the Boathouse. So I want to welcome you, thank you, and tell me a little bit, what is the Boathouse? Who is Carole? And what do you do?
Okay. Hi, and thank you very much for inviting me to chat with you today. So the Boathouse is an arts and event venue that I set up 10 years ago following leaving my previous company that I had also set up, which was a theatre company. And the Boathouse is like a receptacle for the imagination, I suppose. It's a place which is a blank canvas. Because my background is effectively, I'm an artist, I believe that in people's creativity. So the Boathouse was set up, and we have two income streams within the Boathouse. We have an income stream which is very commercial, which actually allows us to support our community engagement work and our arts work. So people can but the same philosophy, and this comes back to brand, the same philosophy applies across everything that we do, which is to encourage people to play and experiment with ideas and realize them. And that comes from my theatre background very much, which is that nothing is solid, everything is changeable, and actually playing with change is in itself a very creative process. So the Boathouse this year is our 10th anniversary. And that's been an interesting thing, because we had to navigate through COVID, where we were closed for well over a year, and navigating through that and using our creativity to think of different things that we could do. For example, making it a virtual space and a filming space. So my background is I've always worked for myself, and I've always started businesses, partly because actually it's a lot nicer and easier from my perspective, to be able to make things happen and at pace as well, rather than sitting inside a big organisation.
I totally understand that. And one thing I can assure you, and I'm sure everybody there can do too, is that once you go in the Boathouse, you can actually feel what it represents for the whole community in Barking in London. And it is a clear example that a brand is just way more than the logo and the name. Is what really builds for this community, and the Boathouse is a perfect example of that. So tell me a little bit about what the Boathouse represents for the community in Barking all these 10 years. That is like a wonderful coincidence that we have also met 10 years ago, and now we are here celebrating 10th anniversary. So tell me more about
I'm very interested in what you're saying about brand, because I completely agree with you. And a lot of people think it is just that final visual identification. But if you haven't done the DNA of your organization so that you know what the values are and they just permeate everything that you do, whatever you decide to do, people know that's a Boathouse experience. I know that when I choose to do my wedding at the Boathouse, or I choose to do an exhibition of art at the Boathouse, or I choose to do a jazz night, or I choose to do a meal that is, shared with people across the world on a live feed. Well, whatever those things are, the core values in our behaviors, in the way that we treat people, in the way that we communicate on email, the way that we nurture. And I think that's quite a female thing as well. We nurture our guests and our artists and everybody that comes into the Boathouse. And we make it, one of our main brand values is hospitality, actually. And that is about how we welcome people into the building. And all my team do that without even thinking about it, really. It's absolutely embedded in what we do. And most of the people that work for me love coming to work. They love the team thing, because whilst it isn't a collective, it's very much an environment where individuals, and I started it on my own, I have to say. The Boathouse at the beginning was me having an idea and starting it from scratch. So I did everything. And that's the other thing I would say to anyone starting a business, your own business as a mompreneur. You're going to have to do everything at the beginning. And doing everything is really important, because then when you pass something on to someone else to do, you know how to do it yourself, whether it's paying the wages or, I don't know, organising the cleaners, whatever it is, you've done it. And therefore you can, how the business works inside out. And I think the other thing I would say that's unique about the Boathouse, and a lot of people say it, is it feels like their home when they have an event there, because basically we say yes to pretty much what they want to do, as long as it's not kind of rebuilding the whole thing or knocking a wall down. People find that our yes and approach encourages them to do whatever they want. And so there's a real sense of ownership in the community. Whether it's a baby group that we do for under fives with local mums that we don't charge for because we bring the money in from our commercial work, so that's kind of like, that's the feel of it. And everyone who works there just says, like, I really enjoy this. It's a place where people can bring ideas, so it's not just me and my ideas and ego. It's very much about, someone will say to me, can we try this? And I'll go, if it sounds like a good idea, let's go with it. And we might fail. And the right to fail is really important, because out of failure comes feedback.
That's wonderful. And actually, you said a very, very nice phrase in the beginning that I really loved how you started with, because you said Boathouse is people when I choose to do something as an individual. So I choose implies this freedom of creativity and inspiration, and to do stuff like on my own terms, right? So I have this home, and you just enable this place to create whatever you want. If it works and if it's good for the community, you allow this. So I think, as you also said, that is this receptacle for creativity, which is mainly a female thing, right? As being receptacles of creation. And I want to connect these ideas with you being a mompreneur and being a splendid mother to a grandma of 3, amazing, and congratulations again for that. How does this have an influence on your work being a mom? Both, I don't know if you have positive, negative experiences, but how would you say being a mom has influenced the work that you do for the Boathouse, for the brand, for the spirit of the community? I have seen the way you treat your team. I've seen the way you treat your clients. You say they feel like at home, because I'm sure your soul of mom is there. So how do you see that?
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting question. I think it's about being holistic. I think it's about love. I think it's about love. As a mum, there isn't anything like the love you feel for your kids. It's your children are, it's that wonderful Khalil Gibran quote about, you're the archer and they're the arrow, and you send them out and they come from you, but they don't belong to you. And so actually the greatest thing about being a mum for me is to see the evolution and the growth of my own children and my grandchildren. And so that same philosophy applies to the team that I work with and the Boathouse per se. It's like, okay, and that's where the yes and comes from. It's like, actually, wow, that's amazing that you can do that. Let's give it a go. And so as a parent, as a mum, you're juggling a million priorities at the same time. You have to have a brain that can go from, goodness me, I've got to pick my child up in 10 minutes. I need to finish that proposal. I've got to do the finance. I need to go to the bank. Oh, goodness, I need to get some nappies. Oh, my goodness, I've got to drop them off at school. Running a home is like running a business. So all the skills that you have in running a home once you have kids, particularly, obviously, is the same set of skills. And so I would say if you can run a home and you can organize it so that your kids actually get out on time, but most of the time, and you can help them with their homework, then actually you've got all the skills you need to start a business. And it's just fear that gets in the way of us doing it. It's fear that stops us from doing things. And what other people say, what other people give us the impression that we have to follow a route that's very defined. We don't. We absolutely don't. And I have never felt that I didn't have freedom in the whole time that I've ever worked, which is a long time now.
I'm very, very happy to hear. I totally sympathize with that. And actually, that's my last question for you and the last reflection that I want you to give us some insights. Like if you had a mompreneur or a mom who wants to start a business and still struggles with that fear, with that self-doubt, or maybe what you said, like just thinking too much about what other people think or whatever it is out there. Just what would you say as a recommendation, as a piece of advice? Like if you had this Carole a long time ago when you started, 10 years ago, actually. What would you say?
I would say don't run before you can walk. I would say you can have the biggest vision in the world. Don't try and reach that straight away. Have it there so that you know what you've got a real visualized idea of whatever that business might be. But also do what you love. Do what you love. Choose something to build that you know will captivate you, that you'll care about passionately, that isn't just about, oh, that could make me this money. Don't, I mean, when I first started my company, I worked in a factory. It was just a job that paid some money so that I could build my business from scratch. And I think don't be afraid to do that. Don't be too proud to start doing something that helps you to fund it so you don't have to compromise the idea itself. Many people starting a business do something else but make sure you've got enough brain space and time. So in some ways, working in a supermarket or working in a factory or something that doesn't take up too much brain space allows you to then cultivate and grow whatever it is, the idea that you have, but loving it and feeling like really driven by that idea is at the heart of it.
Amen. That's amazing, Carole. Thank you so much. I hope to see the Boathouse even, the 20th anniversary and the 30th anniversary and so on, because it's just amazing. And I actually hope to be back soon there.
That would be lovely.
I miss London a bit sometimes.
Come visit, bring the kids.
Amazing. So Thank you so much, and we keep in touch.
I look forward to an opportunity to talk to you again for the Boathouse, actually. Yeah.
Will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.